Hi guys, once again welcome to my channel Julie's Med Tutorial, and today I have come up with yet another video that's again related to the same topic that we had discussed in our previous videos. Okay, that's muscular anatomy. And in previous videos what all we discussed was all about types of muscles. Okay, where are these muscles present? Differences among all the three types of muscles. Okay, those were skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles and smooth muscles. And in last video what we discussed was all about the structure of skeletal muscle and other two muscles, but mostly we focused on skeletal muscle. Okay, because this is the one muscle we'll be dealing in our day-to-day activities, whatever movements we do, like sports activities, whatever household chores we do. Okay, everywhere this skeletal muscle is involved and we have to deal with it in our day-to-day activities for all the movements that we do. Okay, so today also our focus will be more on skeletal muscle, and here we will take a single muscle fiber. Okay, and how does it looks like if we take this single muscle fiber under a microscope? Guys, here what I have drawn is the structure of a single muscle fiber, and this thin thread-like structure, this is myofibril, which is present inside the muscle fiber. Okay, there are many numbers of myofibril present in the single muscle fiber. Okay, so this I'll name it here. This is a single muscle fiber, or also called as muscle cell. Okay, so can you see here a red marked area here, band like structure? This band like structure here is called as A band. A band. Okay, it is thick and darker. Okay, and this slight area which I have not marked here, I have left it like that. This is I band. I band. Okay, so when these muscle fibers are arranged one after another adjacent to each other, these A band and I band gives a striation look to the skeletal muscle. Okay, that's why we have seen that skeletal muscle consists of striations, and it is also called as striated muscle because of the presence of these A band and I band. A band is dark band. Okay, and I band is the light band. So if you take a cross section of a single muscle fiber, it looks like this somewhat. Okay, where these thread like structure called myofibrils are arranged adjacent to each other parallelly. Okay, and it also looks like similar to the muscle fiber. Striations are present here. Okay, this is the dark band here called as A band. Okay, dark band is called as A band, and the light, this part, light band is called as I band, also called as light band. Okay, and can you see this thin line here? Thin line, this is called as Z line. Okay, so the structure between two Z lines are called as sarcomere. Okay, that we had discussed in our last video, right? I had told you that I'll be discussing in the next video about the detailed structure of sarcomere. So we are here. Okay, can you see the structure between I band? Okay, and in the middle there is the dark band, and in sideways if you will take, these are the Z lines. So the structure between two Z lines, okay, it is called as, if you will take it one unit, the unit structure between two Z line is called as sarcomere. So now next what we will see, the structure of sarcomere in detail, okay, because this is the contractile unit of myofibril. The whole myofibril is responsible for contraction, okay. So this is the structure of a single unit of sarcomere, okay, that is present on the myofibril, okay. And in the last structure, what did we see? The structure between the two Z line is called as sarcomere. What is it called as? Sarcomere. And it is the contractile unit of the muscle that helps in muscle contraction. And if you will take under a microscope, the structure looks like somewhat like this. The arrangement looks like somewhat like this. So this is Z line. This thin line that separates one unit of sarcomere from the other is called a Z line, okay. And the structure here, can you see this area in the middle of the dark band here where the I band finishes? This area here is called as H zone, okay, H zone. And here the red part, can you see this thick filament here is called as myosin, okay, which I will be discussing now little bit in detail. This is called as myosin. This is the protein filament present in the myofibril, okay. And this thin filament here is called as actin, okay. And this actin filament forms the I band, okay, I band, and this is lighter, okay, light, and this is also I band, also called as light band, okay. And this thick filament here called as myosin forms the dark band, that is A band. This area here is A band, also called as dark band. So the single unit of sarcomere consists of two Z line, and in the middle of the dark band the area here is called as H zone, okay. And the thick filament, okay, here in the middle is called as myosin, which is the protein filament of the myofibril, and this forms the dark band, okay, that is also called as A band, which gives this striations look, okay. And here this is called as thin filament, that is actin, and it forms the I band like structure, which is light band, okay. So this is the structure of a sarcomere, and about its function, what are the physical changes that takes place in sarcomere during a muscle contraction, that we'll be discussing in the next video, okay. So guys, let's see what are these actin and myosin filament in the myofibril, okay. And how does it look like when you take the myofibril under a microscope, okay. So first we will talk about actin filament, okay. Actin filament. This is very thin filament, okay. When you see the structure of this actin filament under a microscope, it looks like thin thread like, okay. So it's a thin filament, and it is mainly made up of protein molecules, okay. So actin filament consists of mainly three proteins. They are, first one is called as F-actin, okay. F-actin. Second one is called as tropomyosin. Tropomyosin. And the third one is called as troponin. Troponin. Okay. So it also consists of other proteins, but majorly this actin filament is made up of mainly 3 proteins. Those are F-actin, tropomyosin and troponin. So now let's see the arrangement of all these 3 proteins in the actin filament. Okay, how these 3 proteins are arranged. Okay, mainly they are arranged in a double helix form. These molecules are arranged in the actin filament in a double helix form. Okay, somewhat like this. So if you will see the actin filament under a microscope, okay, it is arranged in a myofibril in a double helix form. Okay, so can you see the structure here? This round red color structure here. This is mainly the F-actin protein molecule. Okay, this one is F-actin protein molecule. Okay, and can you see this black color thread like structure going all through this helical structure? Okay, this is called as tropomyosin. Now if you will take this troponin, okay, this troponin here, it has got mainly 3 subunits. Okay, each subunits get attached to other molecules. Okay, like it has got one subunit for the attachment with F-actin molecule. Okay, this through this subunit I, it gets attached to the F-actin molecule. Okay, and the other subunit is T, that is attached to tropomyosin. With the help of this subunit, it gets attached to tropomyosin. And the last one, this is for attachment of calcium ion. Okay, calcium ion. Okay, so this is the arrangement of protein molecules in the actin filament. Okay, and during the relaxed state of muscle, or when the muscle is in a resting state, this F-actin molecule is covered by tropomyosin. Okay, now this was all about actin filament. Now let's see the structure of a myosin filament and how it is arranged in the structure of a sarcomere, and how does it look like if you take it under a microscope. Okay, this myosin filament is little thicker than the actin filament. Okay, so it's a thick filament because it is made up of 2 heavy chains, and 4 light chains, and these chains are made up of polypeptide. Okay, now if you will see myosin filament under a microscope, okay, it consists of 2 heavy chains, okay, polypeptide chains, and 4 light polypeptide chains. Okay, and it is also arranged in somewhat in a helical form. Okay, now let's see the simple diagram of a myosin filament here. Okay, if you will see this myosin filament under a microscope, these myosin molecules are also arranged in a double helical form. Okay, these 2 heavy chains and 4 light chains of a polypeptide gives a double helical structure to this myosin filament. Okay, and these myosin consist of lateral projections. Okay, these are called head of the myosin. So can you see this lateral projection coming out from the myosin molecule here? These are the lateral projection. Okay, it is also called as head of the myosin. Okay, head of the myosin, and this head of the myosin consists of two attachment site, okay, or the two binding site. It consists of two binding sites. Okay, one for the attachment of F-actin molecule during the muscle contraction. As you have seen in this actin filament, it consists of a F-actin protein molecule which has got a binding site. So this binding site of a F-actin molecule gets attached to the head of the myosin. Okay, so it has got one binding site for F-actin molecule and the other for the ATP molecule. Okay. So for the muscle contraction to happen, these myofibril also require energy, right? So from where this energy requirement is fulfilled? Through ATP. So this ATP molecule gets attached to the binding site present on the head of myosin filament. Okay. So this is all about the myosin filament. So today we discussed everything about the muscle fiber and the microscopic structure of a myofibril. So what all we discussed? This muscle fiber has a covering called as sarcomere, and inside the muscle fiber so many myofibrils are arranged, okay, adjacent to each other, structured parallelly. Okay, and if we'll take a single muscle fiber, how does it look like? It consists of striations, okay, outside the myofibril. Then we discussed about the structure of a single myofibril. How does it look like if we take it under a microscope? Okay. Then we saw the reason behind the presence of striations in skeletal muscles, that is due to the presence of dark band and a light band, or the I band or the A band. Okay. And what are these I band and A band made up of? Mainly myofilaments. What are the two myofilaments present in the myofibril? That is actin filament and the myosin filament. This together makes a unit called as a sarcomere. Okay. And last we discussed about the structure of actin and myosin, and this actin is mainly made up of three proteins. Those are F-actin, tropomyosin and troponin, and these proteins are arranged in the actin filament in a helical double helix form, right? So here we saw that F-actin has a binding site which gets attached to the head of the myosin during the muscle contraction phase, and then we discussed about the three subunit or three attachment site of troponin, which helps this troponin molecules to get attached to the other proteins. Okay, so it has got attachment site I, which helps this troponin to get attached to F-actin molecule, and the other one is T, that is tropomyosin. This attachment site helps troponin to get attached to tropomyosin, and the last one is C. This is the attachment site for calcium ion, which gets attached to the troponin molecule. Okay, so this was all about actin filament, and then we discussed about the myosin filament, which is little thicker than the actin filament. Okay, and it is thick due to the presence of polypeptide chains. Okay, it has got mainly 6 polypeptide chains, 2 heavy chains and 4 light chains. It also has got lateral projections, okay, which helps this myosin filament to get attached to the actin filament during the muscle contraction stage. Okay, so can you see here, this head of myosin has got binding sites. Okay, so first here you can see it has got the binding site which helps this head of the myosin to get attached to the F-actin molecule, and even F-actin molecule in the actin filament, it has got a active binding site. Because of this presence of binding site, this myosin head and the F-actin molecule of the actin filament gets attached during the process of muscle contraction. Okay, it also has got another binding site, that is for ATP molecule, because ATP molecule is also required for the muscle contraction process. So this ATP molecules get attached to the head of the myosin filament. So this was all about today's video. So guys, for today I'll stop here, and in next video I'll be discussing about other few important structures present in skeletal muscle, and those structures also play a very important role during muscle contraction. So later whenever I'll be discussing about the mechanism of muscle contraction and various physical changes that takes place during muscle contraction, if you have a better idea about all these structures, then it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, so please, if you have any doubts related to these topics, you can put in the comment section, and of course to stay tuned, I would request you guys to subscribe my channel. Okay, so it will be very easy for you to understand step by step, because I am keeping all my videos in continuity and we are discussing all about muscular anatomy. Okay, so fine, till then, stay safe, stay healthy, bye bye.